Yo guys, what is up? Welcome to TSO Crypto, your home for crypto TA. I am your host Martin. Today we're gonna look at, well, Bitcoin keep dropping again. Same title as last time. If you're catching this from live, welcome. And if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the bell, hit the sub, join us in the Discord. Yeah, leave comments in the comment section box. That's what it's there for you to tell me stuff, and then I can reply, and we can all have a great chat. So with all that said, guys, what is happening with the market cap? Dudes, market cap still dropping. We still have not quite gone to the measure move. We're still getting some kind of like downwards motion, particularly below the 2.25 trillion, right around here. And it looks as though we want to head for that 2 trillion. Mainly these here zones, 2.05 trillion, right? Will market cap get there? Right now it just looks more likely, right? We're still dropping here, right? We're looking for that bullish divergence. Guess what? It's kind of still there, man, right? It's kind of still there, still trying to hold, but it's not getting that violent of a move. Now, the fact that we're cooling off could lead to something like this, where we cool off a little bit, right? Create less of that, right? Create less of that here. And then we drop, but by the time we get that drop here, right, we're going to be creating less negative momentum, and then it just keeps on going. And then we still have that bullish divergence, right? Hello, BL, how's it going? So with that, that is what we're looking at, right? I mean, that is what could be in store for us. When we do have the bullish divergence, we could just be looking for that reversal to happen. But right now, we've seen weakness, and we have seen weakness in this zone, right? That 2.5 trillion. We're failing to get above there. So, not the coolest, but that's where we're at, right? That is where we're at 100%. So, market cap, bullish divergence, you're going to try to get that moving up. Nothing else is going to get us out of this wreck. Let's go check out Bitcoin. Bitcoin, $61,709. Alrighty. Cool. Bitcoin, what are we doing? We were here when we were last looking at this. It was around Monday, because I remember I was off for Tuesday and Wednesday, and now we're like over here. So we're still looking for this to hold. It kind of held, right? It held support at 60,423. Right now we're below there at 61,000. And again, we said we were going for that measure move. We're still waiting for this bullish divergence here to kind of hold and help us, rally. But just like with market cap, now what we have here is no longer that, because if we zoom in, right, look at that. We are lower than where we're at. So the bullish divergence that we had to here, we're losing it with that drop, right? We're kind of like no longer having it. Now, we're going to look at the other indicators and see if we have anything going on there as far as like, because we had the hidden divergence, right? Now do we have strong bullish? And the answer is yes. Finally, we're developing the strong bullish on Bitcoin, right? Look at that. We don't have this against the RSI anymore. We just have strong bullish against the MACD. So Bitcoin looks like it could be setting up for a reversal in trend. If that does come to play, we're looking for Bitcoin to get above this zone, which would be the $62,423 mark. And then start climbing back up again. Wouldn't be weird, because that would basically have us create, I'm not going to say this is a double bottom, because we're not at the bottom. It's not a downwards trend, right? But we are creating some kind of like double bottom-y type of situation, although we're getting it on an uptrend, right? So we're an uptrend, we're pausing, right? We're creating the two little bottom thing here. 1, 2, right? This will be the 1. This will be the 2. Oh, snap, that didn't work. That would be the 2, right? And with that potential double bottom coming into play, we could be looking for some nice action to the upside. Again, just bullish divergence coming to play right now on Bitcoin, right? That's what we have on the daily. 4-hour Bitcoin. What is going on there? Similar stuff. We're looking for the bullish divergence, right? We kind of dropped a little bit more. We still managed to hold on to that here on the 4-hour, particularly that point. Got the pop, but failed to get higher than the previous levels that we were at. And again, that just comes with the territory that the daily had some kind of bearishness before, right? Now, what I want to do is zoom in here. I want to make sure that we are holding on to that even as we go to the next one. And yes, even from here, right, from here to here, we still have some of that bullish divergence developing against the MACD. Now, the question is going to be, do we have it also against the RSI? And the answer is no. The RSI is lower. Slightly lower, but it's still lower nonetheless. And with that, we have only bullish divergence against the MACD on this itty bitty section. Again, still for a potential action to the upside. We got the rally, but we're failing to get higher than the previous high. And if you know what pattern I'm looking for, you kind of already know what we're looking at here. So this line is going to be vital for Bitcoin to hold, right? So as of now, this here line is something that we have to hold on to, right? It's not if we want to hold on to it, it's like we have to hold on to it, right? So I'm just going to shift this here into the 4-hour chart only. Make sure it's only there. I don't want to go into the 1-hour chart. You know what we're talking about, right? Now, why is it crucial we hold that? Because we are creating what would seem to be a 3 falling peak pattern. And, you know, we could argue that it started up here and got the drop in 2 and 3, and now we're still going down. And yes, that would be potentially true, all things considered. But I think it looks more legit at this portion, 1, 2, 3, because they're more or less similar looking. So this would be 2. And then the next one would be 3. And that would be the beginning of a downtrend. Oh, no, I hit space. Now it wants to jump into the next chart. Hell's no. All right, so the 4 hours creating what looks to be a 3 falling peak pattern. So we want to hold on to this here line. All right, this line is what we definitely don't want to drop below. All right, so with that into account, let's go to the 1 hour and see what's in store for us there. Again, we have some bullishness. There is some hidden divergence as well that comes into play here. That's why we're getting that stagnation, right? Creating that third falling peak, right? We have it against the MACD and the RSI. So things are not looking too hot for Bitcoin. If that does come into play, I think we'll see Bitcoin definitely go for the measure move on the daily, right? That's what I was afraid of. I didn't want to see Bitcoin necessarily come all the way down here. But if that is where we need to go before we rally again, so be it, right? That is where we will go. No denying it. Let's go to the 1 hour. What's happening there, man? Well, similar story, right? Again, just ignore the numbers because this is the same thing that came from over the 4 hour. And just for us to know that, I'm just going to send that to the 4, get rid of it in the daily and the weekly. And I'm just going to have to do the same for all the things I didn't do it. So yay for the cleanup crew. Alrighty, man. Bitcoin on the 1 hour. Man, is it going to be bullish? I hope so, because Bitcoin just really needs something to hold on to. Right on. So let's do this. Let's do that. Nope, the 4 hour. That's it. That's that. And let's do that as well. So, Bitcoin, is it doing anything bullish? Let's zoom in here. So, immediately the thing I'm noticing is we're dropping lower, right? From here to here, more negative momentum. To here, we had some bullishness, right? So, on this move, there was bullishness, and we saw the rally come into play. Other than that, just overall weakness, right? That's how it reads. It reads as the bulls are kind of losing control on the short term, and we're not having anything bullish here. We did rally again. We had something on the 4 hour, so that's why. But as far as anything else is concerned, oh, look at this, right? Like, boom. There's going to be like bearish divergence hidden as well, and it's just coming to play. Right, we have it against the MACD and the RSI. So we're getting all these things coming in, weighing on Bitcoin and putting pressure downwards, meaning that Bitcoin's not quite out of the gutter yet. So, are we doing anything on this last bit? Well, the answer is no, not yet. Because as you can tell, look, low, higher low, negative momentum, less negative momentum, low on the RSI, higher on the RSI, right? So, again, not being the coolest place to be at because we're just kind of like, yeah, what are we going to do now, right? Top of the scenario. So again, this thing over here just came over from like the daily. Gonna send it back there again. I did one too many moves. But again, it's just Bitcoin. So we're expecting right now, it would seem, all things considered, what we have on the daily, the 1 hour and the 4 hour, for Bitcoin to still be going bearish. That's what the indicators are telling us as far as divergence, right? So bearish divergence hidden. Bearish divergence hidden. We know we're doing a 3 falling peak pattern on the 4 hour. We're establishing that. And on the daily, man, we still got to go for the measure move, right? And we're getting denied rally, right? We got denied the 66,944 up here. And right now it looks as though we're rejecting holding support at 62,423. So it's not strong. Bitcoin's looking kind of weak right now, right? That's what I'm seeing, is just weakness. We do have some bullish divergence strong starting to develop on the daily. Hopefully holds and gets us to rally. That's the only thing I can say. I mean, other than that, we're starting to build less of that negative momentum, right? So now if Bitcoin drops farther down, what it's going to do, it's probably going to start creating negative momentum here. But it might not be more than this zone here. And all that's going to do is get us to drag this divergence to the new portion that's still going to be less negative momentum. And yeah, that's what we would be looking for. Again, it's not looking the best, right? It's not looking the best by any means so far. Again, bullish divergence could get us to save, the day and then try to rally. But, 4 hour, 1 hour are streaming bearishness. All right, with that into account, let's go check out Ethereum. Ethereum, yeah, it's kind of dropping, but it's not dropping as much as Bitcoin, right? Ethereum already had that allergic reaction to the price drop where it went viral and dropped much more than it should have. And right now it's okay, yeah, Bitcoin, you can keep on dropping. I'm just going to keep on chilling here. I'm waiting for this to load again. We know we had the bullish divergence. We're just holding on to it, right, wherever we were at. So not really worried out. Ethereum kind of holding. It already had its drop, so to say. We got to check out ADA as well and see how that's holding. I just need for this chart to load. Yo, by the way, guys, if you're watching the stream for the first time and you know what the hell's going on, I suggest you watch every night. We're not here every night, but we're here Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, at least for now. Make sure you hit the likes because we're always here and we're a cool crew. So, all right, chart has loaded. Support holding at the 2,891. Do I like the fact that Ethereum's here? Hells no, man. I would rather see Ethereum up here, right? We dropped about $1,000. If you look at the drop from the high, it's about 25% drop. Why? Because it's 1 out of 4 that we dropped, right? Yeah, so easy peasy, right? Look at that. 26. Actually, in all fairness, we dropped 29, but we're at currently at 26, so about 25%. Cool. Again, quick head mats. So with all that said, again, Ethereum still has the bullish divergence, still waiting for that price action to try to go up. Love the fact that we're holding 1,800. But if Bitcoin drops, Ethereum could very well be going also for that measure move, and that's going to make it have a head over here at 2,457. That is not going to be a fun time, right? Sold at 38.55. Nothing else happening here. Do we have bearishness here? No, no bearishness. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? There is some bullish developing here on this itty-bitty portion of Ethereum, and that move goes like that, right? That is what we have. Boom, that's it. I mean, I really wish we had something else, something cooler to go on with. But, yeah, that's about it. Ethereum trying to hold, and at least it's not tanking as much as Bitcoin, right? So let's go to the 4 hour and see what we have there. Hopefully, Ethereum is going to give us a glimpse of hope, a glimmer of that hope that it could have. Let's see. It had some bearish divergence and kind of dropping out on that. Just like with the corn, again, is not really creating that super defined 3 fallen peaks, right? For ETH. But it kind of not quite doing a double bottom. Not quite doing a double bottom. But we do have this movement here. And it is going to be creating something right now that is kind of chill, cool. Be like, yo, we have bullish divergence strong against the MACD. How do we know there's a negative momentum island there? It's tiny, right? It's tiny, but it's a break. It's right there, see? So that's going to go there, and that's going to go there, and we have the bullish divergence. Now we're going to try to go up. Yay! Do we have it against the MACD and the RSI? Good, man. So bullish divergence strong action to the upside, getting that rally. And here, unlike Bitcoin, we're not creating the bearish divergence, right? This move that Ethereum's getting here is from the hidden divergence that is affecting Bitcoin, right? That drop, that is Bitcoin, dude. Yeah, that drop here, that is Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, we know, has hidden bearish. Ethereum doesn't, right? So, yeah, getting that drop because Bitcoin's dropping, not because Ethereum is doing anything wrong. We're dropping because the Bitcoin dropped. All right, the 1 hour, man. Are we going to do anything here? Cool, maybe. Hopefully. I mean, it kind of looks like we're very close to doing a some weird double bottom here, which again wouldn't call this one a double bottom, but that's what it kind of looks like. Now, the fact is that we're dropping slightly lower, which I kind of like, because then that means Ethereum right here is creating strong bullish divergence, right? Against the MACD and the RSI. Man, that now starts to look good for Ethereum. So Ethereum has a lot of bullishness, right? Ethereum has bullishness on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, on the daily. I think we saw it on the daily. Let's go confirm it. Yes, on the daily. So it has a lot of bullishness behind it. Why is it not pumping? Well, it's not that it's not pumping. It's just that it's not dropping, right? Bitcoin took a drop. Ethereum's kind of holding. And the thing what's getting it to hold right now is a bullish divergence that is developing, right? Because it has in a couple of these different time scales that we've gone and looked. So the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the daily. Now, where can we go if we rally? We're going to be looking at 3,158 as a resistance. Then above there, 3,324. But we are ultimately going to try to hold on support at 2,891. That is our area for support. I mean, unless Bitcoin tanks again, there's no reason Bitcoin should be getting hit hard. It actually has everything that it needs to continue rallying and hopefully can continue on that way. So Bitcoin, don't screw up the party. Let's go check out ADA at 44 cents. I hope you guys are buying ADA. You're ADA-holics, ADA-maniacs. I hope you're buying it because ADA is doing okay. ADA is not doing as bad, right? Let's fix this. Let's assume I'm just waiting for ADA to load. Again, it's taking a little bit. How the bullish divergence is just like with Bitcoin, or sorry, with Ethereum, right? Bitcoin dropped a little bit more. ADA's not dropping. And part of the reason ADA's not dropping is because he had bullish divergence, and that bullish divergence is helping it hold, right? It's like, Bitcoin, you do your stuff. I already dropped, right? It's like, I'm ahead of you. So I already took my drop. Oh, you can keep on dropping, Bitcoin. I'm cool here. I'm chilling. Just when you feel it dropping, let me know so I can start pumping, right? That's just what it feels like Ethereum and ADA are doing. They're like, hey, Bitcoin, I mean, you're late to the party. We have bullish divergence. Are you going to join us? Because we kind of want to take off right now. But we're not seeing that happen, right? Again, it's just taking forever to load. It's taking forever and ever and ever to load. Man. How's the week going so far, guys? Let me know in the chat. If you're watching, if you're hearing, listening, you're live out there, hit the something. Let me know how's it going. Hope you're having a great time. We're crypto watching right now. Crypto bird watching, because, that's just what it feels like. Bullish divergence, found to play out. Holding support at 40 cents. That's what we call for a measure move on the head and shoulders. We already hit the pattern completion. Yay. So with that into account, sold at 29. And on this itty bitty portion, right? I'm just going to zoom in here a lot so I can highlight this. But it's just tiny. It's like the tiniest thing ever, man. Like, there we go, right? That is this. Right, so like bullish divergence strong, potential for action to the upside. Now, this is to today. We could still say here, and it'll still be valid because we still have it there, but we're looking for that action to the upside. So there's bullish divergence strong. Still happening on ADA. Just Bitcoin needs to chill so this can pump, right? Yep, that's how it's going to roll. 4 hour chart, what are we looking at, man? I'm betting we're going to see something similar to Ethereum. First, this thing from the daily that shouldn't be here because, forget anchor, but, good stuff. And we're going to start doing this. So, all right, what do we have here? We're dropping lower, but we're not going to a negative momentum. We're going from negative to zero. Kind of works as divergence, right? Because it's like you're going from like negative to nothing. So like you're going from a minus number to a zero number. But ultimately, we want to get it to a negative momentum island. That's where it's going to be strongest, right? For now, all we have is this. It is going to be a strong bullish divergence against the RSI. Again, hoping that we get a rally to happen, right? I'm just hoping to get a freaking rally going on here, and then we can all be cheerful and happy. 1 hour chart. Bearish divergence with that, the potential for action to the downside. We are getting our movement down. Cool. Are we doing anything here, man? We did not. We didn't have anything on this move. What move am I looking at? Well, the move that goes from here to here. We don't have anything there, right? So it's kind of like bland. Now on the move here, dudes, we don't have anything either, right? Because we're going from a low point, right, to a higher point, and similar stuff. Negative momentum, less negative momentum, and low on the RSI to a higher point on the RSI. So yeah, nothing here that is bullish, right? It just kind of sucks. The ADA's not doing anything else as far as that. So where's ADA going to go? We're going to go to the daily and try to figure out where ADA can go. I know there's something around the 50-cent mark on the 4-hour, and then we have that 40 cents. So it's like about a 10-cent range that ADA's in. We can ultimately try to fib this on a moving down and find retraces, but I think for now, I already did this exercise the other day. I went from here to here and see where we could go if we were dropping as far as fibs are concerned, and that'll get it way down here to 27 cents. I think that's way too low. And if you remember the second time we fibbed it, it was like from here to here, right? From that previous dip that we had here to low, and we know we're dropping below that 1618, right? The next point for the 2618 would be at 26. So if I were to take the low here to the high there as well again, that 2618 is kind of matching, right? It's kind of matching the 1618 here. So if it does drop to those levels, I think we're going to have a lot of support. We have a support at 28, and then we're going to have this two supports there for the 1618 and 2618. I'm just hoping we don't go there. It's not going to be a fun ride. I don't want to be on that ride. So if you're an ADA, beware. Those are targets. Again, just because I'm hopeful that it's not going to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen, right? It's just wishful thinking. So be wary that the market could go there, and you could be in for a nasty, nasty drop. However, inverse head and shoulders measure move hit, right? So that is met. This, talked about it like a while back. This happened, right? That head and shoulders, right? Yeah, that happened. So cool. With all that, let's see what else, dude. I'm gonna check the dollar index. Apparently the dollar index is strengthening at 106. We got above a neckline, if I'm not mistaken. Now the thing is, we know we had bearish divergence. We're starting to see a stumble happening for the last 2 days, and let's see what's going on here, man. We're waiting for the dollar index to load. We're also going to be checking gold, because I think it's near all-time high. If it's still not at all-time highs, I just haven't checked the price since last week. So, again, yeah, we got and managed to get above the 786. Look at that, guys. Look at that fib, dude. Obviously, beautiful support there, man. We're hitting spot on, closing a support, and we're trying to hold on to it. We just happen to gap up on the opening, right? So, like, that would be Wednesday. That would be Thursday, right? We gapped up a little bit, but not the end of the world, right? It's just looking good, though. Right, it's looking good. Again, we have that head and shoulders inverse, and that could lead us all the way up here to that, 109. All right, so the dollar could keep strengthening. It's not going to be weird if that happens. Guess what? That move, this move here, on the dollar strengthening, matches with the movement down on Bitcoin, right, to like the 55,000s. So if the dollar goes to that zone, right, that'll be 2 indicators that would tell us Bitcoin's dropping, the weakness that we're seeing on the bullish indicators playing out. Everything else I called out when we were there. And the fact that the dollar is looking for this upwards move, that would lead Bitcoin to go down, right? So not the dollar, but Bitcoin. So yeah, not going to be fun if the dollar goes to 109. That's going to get Bitcoin around the 55,000s. So be aware of that. Careful of that. Let's go check out gold. What is happening with gold, man? We're still near all-time highs, dude. We wicked it like a couple days ago, but gold, it's still climbing. It's still climbing strong. Good for gold. If you guys got gold, congrats. Again, it's kind of dropping on that strength, right? Look at that. As we keep on rallying, it's just kind of dying out. So gold could be in for a potential downwards motion towards the next week to get some kind of break, consolidate, right, before we look for the next leg up. So we need to consolidate on gold, right? We're gonna probably be looking for some consolidation to happen going on to next week, and that could be coming in as a sort of like flag formation. I'm not sure it's going to be in this range, but we could be looking in for a flag formation to happen before we get the next moving up, right? Only reason I'm saying that is because we're starting to stagnate here, right? We're like flatlining like we did here. So, not going out with a lot of strength. That to me, consolidation, right? Before we run back up again. That's what I will be looking at with gold, right? So beware of that move. We talked about it. Y'all aware that gold could potentially keep trailing up. Silver, like trying to recover at 28.33. Looking better than what it did the other day. Still not at the previous high, like which was up here, $20.84. I think we have fibs here, and we're going to see how that's matching up. But silver, it's not looking bad, guys. It's not looking bad at all. Right? Y'all remember back here when I was like, you guys should buy silver because, you know, whenever I started streaming again, I was like, you guys should buy silver because it's lagging out behind. Yeah, it's starting to take off now. So it's not going to go to the previous highs it had when gold, was, kind of like paired to gold to some extent. And when gold went up, it was like kind of like fixed silver. But we still see silver lagging in with a higher potential of movement, right? And it's cheap to get. I'm not saying buy a lot of silver, but if you're diversified, you should be getting silver, as well as gold and other precious metals, right? Platinum, palladium, tin. Tin's super expensive. Yeah. Cool. So this is not loading for some reason on silver, but I'm positive that we had some fibs or something because it just looks odd. So I'm not going to wait for it to load. I'm going to go back to something else because, yeah. Where's tin at, dude? I'll like check out the price of tin. Tin is uptrending. Right, I told you guys, tin's uptrending. Tin's like expensive right now, $32,775 per metric ton. It's not cheap, right? We can look at 10 years of data. It's not at its highest like silver, right? But it's definitely uptrending, just like silver and gold. So tin, a lot of potential, right? Nickel is probably also doing the same thing. So here's nickel. $18,000. Similar story, right? Trying to uptrend, but nickel's lagging, right? Nickel's not like, silver yet, but it could get there, right? Highest price it got was like up here, which was like almost 48,000. We're like at 18. This nickel has a lot of potential as well. Right, it's lagging. It could go back up, so it's something to watch out for. Right, lead is doing okay. It's not at all-time highs, but 2,198 is also kind of like an average price it's been at for a while. I can tell you probably in the last 5 years, 10 years, it's been at that level for some time. It did have a spike right back here, but it's more or less would be like an average price for it. So it's not really doing crazy. It's not going to go nuts, right? But we're going to see something similar. And I'd rather go into nickel and tin, I think, than go into lead. Another one that is also more or less at a regular price is zinc, right? Zinc is more or less there as far as that goes. It's getting a rally, but we're going to be at like more or less of an average of 10 years, I think. So if you were to draw like an average of prices, it's at a good price. It still has potential to go, but not as much as lead, right? Lead is just like really short. It's not going to get that massive move. So far I told you a couple things that could be looking pretty good. There's going to be palladium. Yeah, again, not really well, right? It's kind of like downtrending. So palladium kind of sucks right now. All right, $3,000, like it's $1,000 per ounce. That's like freaking expensive, right? Because it got more expensive than gold back here. But it is not trailing gold and it's not trailing silver, right? It's kind of like stunned. So palladium, if you can, would be a potential get in because it could be going in with strength And the only thing I'm not seeing here is platinum, so they probably don't have the price. If I show more, it might come up. Soda ash, I don't want to see that. Rhodium is also expensive, right? That's been uptrending as far as metals go. And sorry, guys, I know it's not crypto related, but we're going to be looking at some of this stuff, dude. It was uptrending last year. I remember that. And let's see, last 10 years. Yeah, so not going super strong, but it was getting this spike, and the market seemed like it was going to take off, particularly in this spike. And this spike, as I remember, I got a lot of people calling me in regarding rhodium and asking questions, particularly during this time. And then a couple months ago. So I thought it was going to be uptrending a little bit more. Slightly uptrending, right? Not as strong. So I wouldn't be getting into rhodium either or anything rhodium related. Let's see. Manganese, I don't care for. Gallium, I don't care for. Zinc, we already checked. Tin, we did. Aluminum is more or less where it's been at. So I'm not expecting to see a huge, massive bump. Yeah, it is higher, but if we go to the 10-year data, it's not as high as it's been. I would say it's like about an average price, right? For like the last 5 years or so. If we go to the last 5 years, kind of like, from the low and the high and where it's at, it would be more or less like an average-ish price. So it does have upside potential, right? But I think aluminum is such a high recyclable material that you don't get to see that much price go up because there's so much around us of aluminum that is just recycled. And that's why the price is not going as high as with a scarce metal like gold, silver, palladium, platinum, nickel, right? So aluminum gets recycled quite a bit. So that's why the price kind of stunned and not going up as strong. Cobalt, it's also a good one to potentially get into. I think right now it's going to be lagging. I can't remember the last 10 years for cobalt, but yeah, it's lagging, like I said. It is lagging, and it is well below. Market for cobalt should potentially pick up steam as well eventually. And once it starts picking up, you could be getting in at a good area of value for if you hold cobalt mining companies. Lithium is going to be hot. It's been getting hot like for a while now because a lot of batteries do use that. Can I add that here? No, it's not going to let me. Lithium, here it is. All right, so lithium, let's get like a 5-year average, and we're going to see a spike. Yeah, that's when like battery stuff is going on. But lithium is probably going to be an interesting one to get because, it's been around up here like 60,000. I think this is Chinese per ton, but it should, in theory, be looking for a movement up. What else have I not mentioned? Metal, gold, silver, I already talked about those. Copper we haven't talked about. Copper is probably going to be an interesting one. Yeah, $4.5 per pound. I would need to translate that into what I know it could be. So 4.4251 times 22.0348. No, that's off. 4.4252 times 2204. Yeah, that's more like it. So I think that's a conversion I was looking for. I just got to go from like pounds to tons. So yeah, that's it. So $9,000. Yeah, it's been around 10,000 in the past. We're probably gonna see it like 450 or 8 if we swim back. Yeah, see, like 450 or 450, 48. Yeah, there we go, 4.9. So yeah, that is it. So yeah, that up there would be around the 10,000, almost 11,000. So I could do that real quick. That's 4.8 times 2204. There we go, 10,500. Right. So I know it's been up there in price. Still nice uptrending though. If you can track this, it's much better, and it is bouncing harder than the other commodities we looked at. So I just need to get it to a place where I knew what the price was in tons. So yeah. Again, used to trade a lot of the stuff in the past. Let's see what else is worth looking at here. Platinum, here it is. Platinum is probably going to be a good one to get into. It looks like it's lagging, but price-wise, could be interesting. Last 10 years. Yeah, it's still like lagging. It still hasn't taken off again. And that could be a good entry level for platinum. Let me see. Steel, I don't care for. Iron ore, On 107, it's good. It's not a cheap price, so you're gonna see a lot of activation in the iron ore industry, because it was lagging. It was like around the 60s, like in 2022 or something like that. It was trying to take off, then it kind of stunned and went back up. So yeah, here like 2022, right? It was trying to get that boom, but yeah, I remember like this area here going back down, and ultimately, yeah, like the 80s, yeah, super low. So yeah, iron ore could be potentially looking good as a good entry as well. I wouldn't be buying iron ore though, or anything related to iron ore. The industry is kind of weird right now. Uranium I wouldn't get into. Metal, gas, coal. What else? Lumber. Nope. Wheat would be interesting. It's down. US dollar per bushel. Yeah, it's down a bit. If we look at the last 10 years, we can probably see, yeah, downtrend. I remember when it was way back, you're doing really good prices. Right now, kind of sucks. So let's see what else, man. There's their fertilizers here. Fertilizers could be interesting. Particularly if we see like urea or NPK. Those could be good ins. But I'm not sure we're going to find them. Yeah, here's urea. This one could be a good buy. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say more. It doesn't give me more data than 1 year. It kind of sucks. That's not good enough to make an informed decision, but I think the price of urea could potentially see an uptrend, particularly going off into, June, July, and fertilizing for end of the year crops and things like that. So winter crops. That should, you do tend to see those trends, right? So you see April. That was April back here, like dropped, and it picked up towards like, end of the year crops, then kind of drops back, because this is fertilizing for the spring, and this is fertilizing for like, different seasons. Cocoa, I'm not sure, man. I haven't looked at cocoa. We can look at it if it's here. I have no problem looking at it. Let's show more. Click on the plus sign. Come to find. Yo, dude, 11,000? That's freaking crazy. You are correct, Andrew. It's like out of control. It's like parabolic, dude. What the fuck? Like, there could be something going on with the cocoa crops, and that's why we're seeing that. Look at that, 10 years, man. It's like stupid high. We can look for news for that. Yeah, there's a shortage, see? That's why I told you it was probably something at play. Cocoa hits record high as global shortage worsens in the first quarter. So we're going to see price of chocolate go up. You know what's kind of stupid? We're going to see the price of chocolate go up and everything like cocoa related. And then when the price goes back down, we're gonna get shafted because they're not gonna lower the prices. They're gonna raise the prices on us, and we're gonna be used to buying stuff at a higher price. And then they're gonna be like, "Why are we gonna lower the price on people? They're already used to paying more for cocoa related stuff. Let's just leave it at that. Let's have a higher margin. Hey, right?" Nestle play, I doubt it. If it's a shortage, that means that there's probably a problem with crops. Here's an article from Bloomberg. Fuck, it's not gonna let me see it if I'm not subscribing. Yeah, we're not gonna read that. But there's probably news. I used to Trading View news. Trading View. I told you parabolic rise, right? Parabolic. They're even saying here parabolic. Let's see. Something happened, dude. There has to be something has to be something like shortage. Like they have to been having problems with crops or something else, man. Right? I don't want to look at that year, man. I want to see what's happening right now. Meanwhile, we'll go experiencing phenomena that many other communities encounter. Price cyclicality. Price tend to fall to levels of production slow. Blah blah blah. I mean, I don't want to see that. I want to see news as to why that is. Right. So drop in supply, yeah, that means there's not enough production. But I want to see why there's not. Here it is. Ivory and Ghana are facing catastrophic harvest hits this season as El Nino, the pattern above sea surface temperatures, led to unseasonably heavy rainfall followed by strong heat winds and worsened the crop disease and also road conditions disrupting the bean delivery. So that's what, dude. That's what's causing it, right? This is what I wanted to find. What was the issue, right? Yeah. But what's happening is this, right? There's a global thing, and that's causing the shortage. It's not like they're not producing it. It's like there's plant sickness, and when you see that, that's when you see these things happening, and that's what I told you. There has to be something with production. Even before I went and see the news, because that's usually what happens. Like that price rise, that means there's something screwing up with the chain of production, or chain of delivery of supply chain of cocoa. And yeah, that's basically it. That's why I told you I need to find the reason that it's going up. Like there has to be less harvest, and this is the reason. It's not like the only reason it's less harvest is because there's not many chocolate companies coming on board, right? So it's not like someone created like 6 Nestlé's in the world overnight, and all of a sudden there's like a higher demand for cocoa and there's not enough supply in the market. That's something that would drive the price up because everyone's going to be fighting to get that supply of cocoa. So they can put it into their plants. But since no large chocolate manufacturers have come online, many of them being like Nestlé sized, right? Or anyone else that deals with cocoa, then you're not banking on that being the case, and that you basically default to there's something screwing up with the crops. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? So it happens a lot with the metals. That's how I can relate it. So if you have a metal company, right? And there are like smelters in the world that deal with the metal. And let's say there's smelters that are like this sized, right? And then there's a supply, right? And since it's only going to the smelters, that supply, right? Whenever a new smelter comes online, guess what? There's new demand for it. So the supply is dwindling. Well, it's maintained, but the demand is going higher, right? And when that demand is going higher, there's less supply to go with it. And when you get that disparity, right? Someone's got to these 4 guys are gonna start fighting to basically buy the supply that is here, and that's gonna drive the price back up, right? So that's how I can relate it. And when that happens, if that's not happening and you see the price dropping, it just means there's a problem with production. Like mines are going down, the price of the metal is so low that mines are not producing, and that it's basically, mines start not producing. That means the supply is going down. Whoever's available has to buy it, right? And that's going to ultimately, the supply is going down. That is going to increase the price. And then that's going to make a lot of the mines go back online. The supply is going to increase. And that's why you get the cycles in the market. Like, do you understand how that works? Like, I'm trying to relate it, but I'm not sure if I'm explaining it properly for you guys to understand it. Did it make sense what I explained to you, Andrew? Let me know. Just I'm going to be waiting. Yeah, you're following? Okay, cool. All right, so back to the cocoa. That's basically what's going on, but what's going on is you had a steady production, right? You have an issue with crops. The supply goes down, right? There's some people that need to have a supply to keep producing chocolate. So what these guys are doing is basically there's not enough. We got to fight each other. We got to outbid each other, right? To put our hands in and grab some of that supply, right? Maybe this guy gets in, maybe this guy gets in, this guy's not going to get enough. So they're going to have to turn to alternate products, or they're going to, try to buy off them by doing swaps with them, cocoa for something else. Or they're going to try to, buy it, but they have to bid higher, and they're not going to be able to produce as much chocolate, so they're going to get hit in their shares, right? In stock prices, because they're not producing enough to keep, with the numbers that they had projected, and they're ultimately going to end up not having enough to maintain operations. They're going to have to lay off people and all that other stuff that comes along with that. Ultimately, the stock price is going to go down. So some companies are going to go down. Some companies are probably going to be more or less steady. But they're going to ultimately raise the price on the consumer, right? Final consumer is going to have to pay more. And that's going to drive their stock prices up, right? Because they're going to report more earnings. Not necessarily more earnings, but, because they're also spending more. But in theory, they should have more earnings because they're going to be getting more money, and although they're spending more money as well. Right. So, but not all companies are going to be able to go with that because they're basically going to start outbidding each other. And when that happens, right, they need to get a piece of that supply. That's when you get that stuff going on. So that's when this goes parabolic, right? They're all outbidding each other and fighting almost daily to get that supply, right? Because right now they know it's going to be a big issue. If you look at this, I'm not sure how much cocoa gets produced in those countries. Probably something's going to be global cocoa supplies anticipated to decline by almost 11% to 4.449 million tons compared to 2023. So already having a big shortage. And you can see here some of the pests, the plagues that are affecting it. They're eating the leaves, and there's probably like something bad going on here with the trees. You can see some of the bugs there or whatever. And you do have a lot of things that are there, like Switzerland consumes a lot, Lindt, Nestle, a lot of these companies. So a lot of that chocolate is probably going to be hurting. But yeah, 11% decline in production is massive, dude. That is a lot of companies that are not going to get it, right? So just to relate it easier, if there's like 10 companies, right, that are buying cocoa, that just means one company is not going to get it. Well, not exactly. They're going to have to buy it more expensive. Just a couple companies here are not going to be able to compete, and they're going to produce less amounts of cocoa or chocolate, and they're probably going to have to sell it at a higher price because they're paying a premium. But these other guys that are here, that are the bigger ones, they're definitely going to try to outbid these dudes, and they're going to get a bigger share of the market or whatever's here. And these guys are going to get less, right? So that's more than, sorry. They're going to get less than the guys here. Right. So yeah, it wouldn't be weird if we see some chocolate manufacturing companies' stocks start to take hits if they're not able to get some supply of cocoa to keep their production going, right? And we, the consumers, are going to get an increase in price, and now we're going to be left with that, which is going to suck majorly. They do sell a lot. I'm not sure they're going to be buying huge amounts. They might be lowering, downscaling, because it's not a major producer. They might scale that. They might scale back on chocolate, man. Right? If they don't have enough to keep buying at those levels, you're going to have to do something like that, right? See, I like the streams, guys. I like the streams when you guys ask for stuff, even though it's just Andrew talking, but I like the streams because it just makes it fun for me to like talk about other stuff and share knowledge. It's not just crypto knowledge, but I have knowledge in a lot of things that I could just relate to you guys and tell you how some things work. But that just comes when you guys ask questions. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here talking crypto. I mean, I already told you where the market could go. We can even do that, man. That would be a good exercise, Nestle. Let's do Nestle in what? Nestle India now. What is the ticker for Nestle, dude? They're trading on a different brand. Are they Unilever? What's the Nestle? No, it is Nestle. Why is it not popping up? I just gotta find the ticker. All right, I'll try to get this one then. NSRGY. All right, there we go. I'm not sure if this is going to be the one I want, but this is one I found. See, this, the price of cocoa is going up, right? And the price of companies going down. And that's probably because investors could be worried as to whether or not Nestle is going to be able to keep up the supply and the operations going, right? Yeah. Like, I think we're going to see this with a couple companies. Let's see. I think this might be a recurring thing with a couple of these dudes. So let's do LD SBF. I think that's Lind. Yeah, Lind Sprugly. See, Lind is not as bad. I don't like the fact that it's OTC. I'd rather see a good ticker, so I'm going to try to get a different exchange for Lind. LISNSW. Let's bring that one in. I think that one's going to be better. LISN. This one might be better. This is in Switzerland. Let's check this one. This could be closer to reality as far as price. Yeah. So it's not getting the sharp decline that Nestle is, but it's still getting a decline, right? And more or less, if we match it to whenever this thing started to go up, which we can, which would be October 2023, December. So let's see what happened here in October, man. October. All right, I kind of took a spike and a dive, right? So it's not getting a lot of that action here. October, right? It's similar stuff, right? I think it's spiked, but now it's getting that dive. And I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what Nestle is doing as far as purchasing, but they're taking a massive dive. I'm not sure I'm getting your question, Andrew. You said, would you even put... Sorry, man. Would you even put any stock in TA during this event? What do you mean? Like, yeah, I mean, we could look at stuff, but we know the driving factor behind it. It's fundamentals. It's not going to be technicals. So when fundamentals are going on, technicals are probably not going to play out, because you can have bullish indicators, but if the industry's crashing, if there's a shortage issue, if there's other things outside of the technicals, those ones could come into play, and the events outside could just be the catalysts that are driving the price to like do something else, right? So when we look at this cocoa, right, had a spike and a dive. Look at that, right? October, November, and then December, and then it started pumping January. Like October, November, December, and then January where it starts to pump, it goes back down, right? So this little hump here, right, like that, kind of correlates to this little hump that we're getting here, right? So that little hump, December, and then January starts to pump, right? So you see how it comes here? It's like October goes up, and then December starts to go back down. It's doing the opposite here, right? So yeah, it's correlating to the price of cocoa. I'm pretty sure here is going to be the same. It's just not as steep. So we start here with October. So where's October, man? Oh, I just kind of zoomed in. Here we go. October. Right, similar stuff happening. So October. There we go, October. So we're getting something similar. October, and then we get December, right? Then January. Here's where we're supposed to go down like Nestle, but this kind of like pumped a bit and then started to go down. Maybe they had a better cocoa position, right? Maybe they have either good cocoa reserves or they had a better cocoa position than Nestle, right? How long after shortish would you expect stocks to bottom out? I wouldn't do it because, there's a lot of things that like would drive that. You would have to be watching the news to kind of keep track of, how that shortage is going, and then play smart once you like a shortage is going to be for a season of growth, right? So that means that this whole growth season is going to be low on supply. You got to see for other alternatives to cocoa that could come into play, like other producers that maybe were having cocoa left for their, like, what happens, right? So if let's say you have a country that produces cocoa, but it's not commercially viable because it's not giving that quality that the larger companies need, because they cannot get in the same quantities, right? So what they will do is they would keep that cocoa for like domestic consumption. That means it does not get exported. But under the circumstances, right, if Nestle comes in and says, hey, man, I know you're producing cocoa is not exactly what I need as far as quality, but I need cocoa and I'm just going to buy it from you, they're going to stop delivering to the local market and send it for export, right? So the local supply is going to go down, but that's going to go out for export because they're going to pay a better price, but it's not going to be sustainable because at some point in time, the other countries are going to start producing cocoa at a regular pace again, and then this country is going to go back down. But this, whatever they produce, is not going to meet up the supply that they need to have. So they're still going to be short on cocoa. You'll still need to look at the news, though, to see what they're doing, each company individually. But after that, you know, it just really depends, man. I can tell you, with relating to metals, that if a company is, you know, I can just go with gold as an example because we have it here. So if a company is producing gold, right, when the price of gold is going down, why is it not loading it? Here we go. All right, so I'm just going to bring up the last couple of years, man. Can I scroll farther back? No, it's not going to let me. All right, so you had like a climb in gold, right? Let me see if I can. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's do that. Here we go. I need to get like 2010-ish. Here we go. So, when this was happening post-housing crisis, right? The price of gold was going up. A lot of mines were not really set up to start here because the price was not paying for the operations. So when the price of gold went up, a lot of mining companies started to make production, right? And that was generating a bigger supply of gold. What ends up happening eventually, you know, there's some other factors that came into play, but there's a larger supply coming into the market. With a larger supply, that means people are wanting to pay less. So the price starts to go back down, and there's mines that cannot sustain operations at this level of prices, depending on whatever metals they're producing, and they have to basically start shutting down operations, or at least putting the mines off maintenance. Basically, maintenance means that they're not producing. They just call it maintenance. They don't want to say they close the operations, but basically they're closing the operations. They're going to be producing. So they put the mine in maintenance until the prices start to climb back up. Then this happens, right? So whenever this starts to go back up, companies that couldn't sustain here are going to start operating again. And they're going to have to go through another ramp-up phase, right? So here, a lot of companies are starting to produce again. More companies. And then we get this little thing here. And now with the spike that we're getting, like, we used to joke, but said, hey, man, if you have dirt in your background and it has gold, it's starting to be profitable to mine it, right? Because the gold's going to pay everything. So if you think about the operations in Alaska, right, like all those like mines that are like vacuuming the gold from the sea floor or the sea bed, and how expensive that is to run, maybe those companies would not be running operations at full here because the price is not going to be good. But the price being where it's at, they're probably going to be running full steam because right now it's going to pay for them to do that. Right? That's like another way I can relate it. But that's going to be, you know, you have to keep looking at the market and not just prices, but in this case, particularly for crops, you have to be looking at what the output's going to be for like next year. The projections are going to be for next year. For that, you need to keep track of a couple things and keep looking at the news, whether or not the shortages are going to be gone, if they're going to find alternate suppliers of that. If they do, that's going to be good. If they don't, then you're going to be stuck. But 11% drop in production worldwide, that just doesn't get picked up by anyone, right? That just means that whatever was sold locally is not going to be sold for exports. You're still not going to meet fully the demand, but that's still going to drive the price. And it's going to drive a factor. Now, as far as how long it's going to take, it's kind of hard to tell. Next season is going to be a good indicator. Are they still going to get like some kind of like El Nino effect? And where are they going to have plague, or are they going to have to do other stuff like pesticides and things like that for pest control? And if they do, then supply should more or less be stabilizing for next year. But that's going to be until next year when you're getting a better idea of what the crops are looking like, right? But for that, to understand how the crops are doing and how you need to be in the know or in the markets of what producers are saying and stating. And to be fair, as a regular consumer, you're probably not going to have the same information that Nestle has. Nestle and other companies that are there are probably talking to these producers like day in, day out. Be like, hey, man, you know, what are you doing? Are you having problems? Are we going to see the same issue like this year? And the producers are going to be getting him the know-how, and they have the pulse because they're basically there every day, right? And Nestle's going to have like information before you do. Not that they do anything wrong with that, but you don't have a lot of things there, right? Akko, yeah, dude, why not? Okay, what is this? I have no idea what this company does, by the way. I'm waiting for it to load. All right, here we go. Cool. We can do some things. We can do some fibs. Load a high real quick, see where we're at. Again, I'm just going to ballpark stuff. So drop into the 618. And I'm going to grab that at the bottom there as well. So we can get fully. There we go. 618 bouncing, hitting the 382. And about to bounce at the 50%. I just want to see the levels. Dude, they're over numbers. All right, 116. As a 50%, that's what we're trying to hold. 110 is where we bounce and reject at 123. We should be looking for 145 again on the smaller fibs. But as far as what's going on right now, you're just like a downward trending channel, right? That's where it's at. All right. It's not going to be a parallel channel. It could be a parallel channel. I just want to see something real quick. No, it's not. It's going to be like a down, kind of falling wedge. So first thing, easiest thing to draw is the channel. And then we would zoom in here. Come in here and try to draw this as far as a flag formation. So something like that. And then something like this, right? So you can tell it's kind of like a falling wedge. All these consolidation patterns, at least this one here, it should tend to break to the upside, right? Make tractors and combines and other agricultural equipment based on what you're talking about with mining companies. Sounds like you take a hit, right? Not necessarily, dude. Not necessarily. I'm not saying like mining companies are going to go down. I'm saying the price are going to go up. Right, because the price are going up, there are a lot of mining operations are starting up. So with mining operations starting up, equipment demand is going to go up. So in theory, these companies should be doing better if they're producing mining equipment, right? If they're just driving tractors, dude, like you got to understand like what the tractors are for. If they're for like crops, like ground crops, they're not going to do any good with like the cocoa and because the cocoa probably gets done by hand. I mean. Look at the operations they got going on this pictures, man. Like there's like no machinery coming in here to like cut down the cocoa, dude. This is like manual labor. So, well, here's production, but that's a different thing. But this is probably all manual labor, man. See, like there's no way a machine's gonna come in here to do any of that job. So yeah, dude, it's not. Like with mining, I would expect like machinery to go up, particularly if more mines come on board and start producing other things, right? But with cocoa, it's just like manual labor. Cool. All right, we're gonna call it a stream for tonight. And gonna get some rest. It's late. Andrew, thank you very much for staying here and chatting with me. We've been live for about like an hour and 8 minutes or so. I think I wake up super early tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow again to keep talking crypto markets and whatnot. We could look at cocoa again for sure, man. And that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the content, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the bell, hit the sub, join us on the Discord. Whatever it is that you want to do, leave us a comment and the thumbs up. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. And I'll catch you again tomorrow for another edition of TSO Crypto. Until then.